reasons why leaders fail, 5 reasons why leaders succeed, and 5 qualities of leaders who excel. So there'll be 15 points altogether. All 15 of them have been taught already. But praise the Lord anyhow. 5 reasons why leaders fail. And there are no particular order. I need to say that to you. Just because 1 comes before 3 does not mean that number 1 is more important than number 3. So there's no order of importance. Number 1, insecurity. Number 1 reason that leaders fail is what? Insecurity. Insecurity. Insekirity is when we overvalue somebody else's gift and undervalue our own gift. Insecurity is when we feel like I am no good. That's why I love the book, You're Better Than This. Insecurity will always keep you down. Insecurity will keep you hollow on the inside. On the outside, you might look like you have it going on, but insecurity will keep you hollow on the inside. Insecure people always blame others for the place they are in life. Insecure people, here's a big one. Insecure people having a hard time giving credit to somebody else. Insecure people have a hard time giving praise to somebody else. Insecure people have a hard time recognizing that it is because of others that we find ourselves in this room. Have you ever been around an insecure person? You always have to prop them up, don't you? You always have to humor them. You always have to make them feel good. You got to be careful that nobody says anything nice about you. You say something nice about somebody else, they get their feelings hurt. You didn't say anything about me. Because insecurity will never allow you to become all that God intends for you to be. Insecure people. That is one reason why leaders fail. Number 2. Now I've already told you I got 15 points, right? I've done the calculation on this. I got 40 minutes. I've already spent 36 minutes already. So I'm going to spend 90 seconds on each one of them. Just want you to know. So that in case you are wondering why I'm doing it the way I'm doing. Number 2 reason why leaders fail is because they don't have mentors and coaches in their life. Mentors and coaches in their life. People ask me on a regular basis, what's the greatest mistake I've ever made in my life? Or maybe some of them are kinder and say, if you could do it over again, what would be the one thing that you'd do over again? I can tell you the one thing I'd do over again is to get mentors and coaches in my life. I know this about me. I'd be much further down the road if I had people in my life who were there to serve my maturity. Because I made so many mistakes in my life that were totally unnecessary. How many of you know you don't want to be repeating somebody else's stuff? You might well learn from other people. But not having coaches and mentors in your life. Earlier on, I think it was one of Pastor Chris's questions in which there was a lady who was over men and so on and so forth. And you remember that question there that was asked. And I love the answer that Pastor Chris gave her. And the answer was, get some mentors and coaches. Talk to some people who are in the same life situation, who have conquered that. You don't have to go life alone. And when you have mentors and coaches, it will help you to create what we call a personal development plan. It will help you to create a written plan for your life. We call that a PDP, a personal development plan. How am I going to grow educationally? How am I going to grow spiritually? How am I going to grow relationally? How am I going to grow financially? A personal development plan in your life. And the third reason why leaders fail is they don't know how to deal with mistakes. They don't know how to deal with what? Mistakes. I want to ask you a question. How many of you have ever made a mistake in your life? Can I see your hands? Okay, the rest of you are just busy writing, I know. I'm going to ask that question again, just to give you exercise. How many of you have ever made a mistake in your life? All right. How many of you believe you will never make a mistake again in your life? How many of you know you're going to make mistakes again? So there is no such thing as a mistake-free zone. So you might as well learn how to deal with mistakes. I'm going to tell you how to deal with the mistakes. When you mess up, fess up. That simply means when you mess up, when you make a mistake, don't make excuses for it. Don't try to explain it away. When you make a mistake, you simply admit it. And how do you admit it? You admit it by giving a sincere apology. Let's talk about apologies. Have you ever had somebody say something like this to you? If I have offended you, please forgive me. Is that an apology? No. Or something like, I'm really sorry for the way I said it, but I still believe what I said. When you do that, you make a bad situation worse. It would have been better if you never apologized. How many of you married? How many of you married? Can I see married people's hands? Married. That means you're a husband or a wife. Married, okay. Some of you are not sure. You just got to learn to apologize. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm... So when you apologize, can you give you an illustration of apology? When you're apologizing, walk up to somebody and say, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. If you say anything after that, it's what I call a non-apology apology. All you're doing is you are doing all that so that you can get yourself out of the mess you're in. People fail, leaders fail because they don't know how to deal with mistakes. Listen, all of us make mistakes all the time. Just say, I'm sorry and move on. But when you don't know how to deal with mistakes, you will make mistakes, making mistakes. Number 4. Yeah, you'll get that tomorrow. Number 4. The fourth reason why leaders fail is they don't understand the people they are leading. They don't understand the people they are leading. When you are a leader, you have to become a student of your what? Followers. That's right. If you don't know who you're leading, then you don't understand leadership at all. Because before you can lead, you got to understand who are you leading. So when you don't understand the levels of people you're leading and the levels of people that you're talking to and how you are talking to them and the people that will take you to a certain place and not take you to a certain place. I just love the illustration of the question of the lady who is also in the fashion industry and her dreams scare her, and I agree totally with Pastor Tola. But remember what Pastor Tola said to her. He said to her that there's some people who will never understand. So why do we try to keep making people understand who don't have the capacity to understand? Jesus said it this way. He said, don't cast your in front of 9. I'm not calling anybody swine. I'm just quoting Jesus, okay? So blame him. Don't cast your pearl before swine. Because they're going to do two things. Number one, They're going to walk on your pearls. They're going to walk on your dreams. They're going to walk on your vision. They're going to walk on what you want to do. And number two, after they've done that, they're going to turn on you. Who do you think you are? Really? Nobody in our family's ever done that. And nobody in our neighborhood has ever done that. What makes you think you're going to do that? So why do you even talk to people at that level? There's some people you have no business sharing your vision with. Because every time you shared a vision with them, they walked on your vision. Learn from it. Just say hello. And that's it. Never let them enter your life then. Because you got to know as a leader who to talk to and who you're leading. And finally, number 5. Lack of personal disciplines. Lack of personal disciplines. And if you're writing that down, right next to it, in small things. Lack of personal disciplines and what? Small things. Not the big things. Let me tell you, I've lived long enough to tell you the big things will not trip you up. It will always be the scripture says this to us. Beware of what kind of foxes? Little foxes. They are the ones that are going to hold you back. The small things. Can I give you some illustrations of small things? Pastor Tola talked about that. See, all I'm doing is I'm quoting these two guys. I got nothing new. When someone said to him, remember that? I'm going to call you at 4 o'clock. That's a small thing. But that is what makes up their character, because now they are labeled as undependable. So when you say to somebody, I'm going to get back with you, get back with them. When you say to somebody, I'm going to call you, call them. When you say, I'm going to send you an email, send them an email. When you say something, do it. It's always the small things of studying. Small things of being punctual. Small things of just keeping your word. Because if you keep your word, people start depending on you. When people start depending on you, promotions come your way. Can I tell you, you don't get a promotion because you work really good. You get a promotion because somebody trusts you more. I'm going to say that again. You don't get a promotion because you work really well. You get a promotion because you work well and your work has created dependability and somebody else has started trusting you more and therefore they promote you. It's always the small things. Somebody is always watching you. It's always the small things. So let me give you 5 major reasons why leaders succeed. 5 reasons why leaders succeed. They understand the importance of building relationships. They understand the importance of building what? Relationships. You will get further in life if you understand this point. It's all of life is about what? Relationships. Can I tell you, you were born because 2 people had if people didn't have relationship, you wouldn't be here. That's on the physical level. But I'm here because of my relationship with Pastor Tola. Pastor Tola has a relationship with Pastor Chris. Are you seeing how it works? It is one relationship that leads to another relationship. So, spend time in cultivating relationships. Spend time in knowing other people. Spend time in creating dependability among the people that you relate to. When you are in relationship, the way you build relationship is to have reciprocity. That means it cannot be a one-way street. You give, they give, you give, they give. It's a two-way street. Relationships. Sometimes we think that I can do everything by myself. I'm here to tell you, all of us in this room are here because of somebody's relationship. You didn't get here by yourself. Somebody, if you just for a second think about how you got in this room, just think about that. Forget about life. Just think about tonight, right now, at exactly 1 minute after 7 o'clock. You on a Saturday night. Think for a moment, how did you end up in this room? There's only one reason you're in this room. Because of what? Relationships. And the same relationships will take you higher and further. The second reason why leaders succeed is they pay attention to their character. They pay attention to what? Their character. Now, enough has been said about character tonight. But I want to remind you that character is what makes people trust you. And character is built in little increments on an ongoing basis. But there will come that time in your life that character will start blending into another word called legacy. How many of you want to walk into your God-given legacy? And that legacy will not happen unless you have what? Character. So, character is what's going on right now. But when you get of a certain age, whatever that age might be, when you get old as Pastor Chris, last night was Pastor Tola, tonight's Pastor Chris. You start thinking more and more about what? Legacy. What will I leave behind? Now, there's a difference between inheritance and legacy. Inheritance are things. Legacy are people. Inheritance is what you will leave behind. W-H-A-T. Legacy is who you will leave behind. W-H-O. So you see, for me to leave the what behind, all you need is money to do that. Just buy a bunch of life insurance, and you can leave the money. On May the 21st, just 5 weeks ago, I had a heart attack. A literal heart attack. It put me in the hospital for 6 days. They found blockages and they put stents in there and everything. I remember calling Pastor Tola, telling him about it. He says to me, "But you'll be okay for Nigeria, right?" "No, man, what happened? I'm so sorry. I'm praying for you. Don't worry about anything." "Oh, no, you'll be okay for Nigeria, right?" Yeah. He's watching out for you all. That's what he's doing. So I'm sitting there. So I was in the hospital for 6 days. Everything changed. I canceled 3 weeks of appointments, and everybody said they understood, and I hope they did. But anyways, you know what am I gonna do? My ticker is not, like. So, and I'm still gaining my strength back. I'm still not 100%. I remember we were in the hospital room and my family was there with me. So you got to understand my family. We have a very unique relationship. So, I'm sitting there with my family, and the next day they were going to do the procedures on me and stuff like that. So I said to them, I'm just kind of concerned that you all will be okay with, if something happens to me, that you all will be fine. My grandchildren, everybody was there, and they're. So Debbie, my younger daughter, she's 33. She said, "Oh, Dad, we'll be fine. You got plenty of life insurance." So my granddaughter, she's 16, she spoke up. She said, and she calls her grandmother, my wife, Nanny. She calls her Nanny. She said, "Yeah, Nanny will be rich." I'm having a heart attack. You all need to know how to pray for me and my family, But when I die, I will die someday. When I die, they can get all the money. They'll get the house, cars, whatever it is. They'll get the money. But that's not my legacy. My legacy is my wife saying he was a good man. He worked hard. I trusted him. We grew old together. Life was good for us. That's my legacy. My children saying, you know, Dad said stupid stuff from platforms all over the world. But Dad was the same on the platform as he was in the parking lot. Dad treated everybody equally. Dad was respectful to everybody. That's legacy. But you will never get your legacy till you build your character today. Because character is what you do when nobody's watching you. Let me give you number, what number am I on? Number 3. Pastor Tola talked about this one. People who are obsessed with constant improvement. People who are always wanting to improve constantly. Improvement, 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 improvement. I'm going to go somewhere with this. Everybody look at this podium. Everybody look at this podium. Look at this podium. Look at this podium. This is a good one, right? It's got platinum, crystal glass. It's beautiful. Can this podium be improved? Yes. Can you improve this podium without changing something about it? So to improve this, you've got to make some changes. See, everybody's for improvement. But nobody wants to change. So if somebody walks up to you 5 years from now and say, "Oh, you're still the same," that's not a compliment. I mean, if your child is this high at 5 and this high at 10 and this high at 15 and this high at 20, would you agree something is wrong? I'm hoping that if you're going to succeed as a leader, you're always going to ask, what should I be changing? Because the most important change you're going to make is when you change your mind. Change your mind. And number 4. Leaders who succeed understand communication. Leaders who succeed understand what? Communication. I'm talking about interpersonal communication. How you talk to people. Your body language, listen to me carefully now. About 85% of your communication is your body language. Your attitude. Your posture. Communication, words are less than 15%. The rest of all communication is how you look somebody in the eye, how you shake their hand, how you smile, how you frown, how you fold your hands, how you keep your hand. Everything says something about you. Communication. Because communication is about 3 things. It is about listening, it is about speaking, and it's about including. It's about 3 things. It's about what? Listening, not hearing. Hearing is biological. Listening is with your entire person. When you lean into somebody, when you ask them questions, when you look at their face, when you understand where they're coming from, so anybody can hear. Have you been talking to somebody and you know that everything going right past them? And you look at them and say, "Do you understand?" And they say, but they're not. They're lying to you. Or they're talking to you but looking over your shoulder at somebody else. Listening, speaking, and including. You learn good interpersonal communication skills. It'll take you a long ways down the road. Some of the questions that were asked, 2, 3 of the questions that were asked, had to deal with interpersonal skills. And interpersonal skills are, how do I get along with people? How do I talk to people? How do I listen to people? How do I make things clear to them? How do I understand what they are saying? Because you see, listening will lead you to understanding to what they are actually saying. When you get into an argument, we are always, while they're talking, what are we doing? While somebody else is talking, what are we doing? We are thinking about what we are going to say to them. You know, Brenda and I, my wife and I have been married for 38 years. Brenda and I don't have arguments. We have vigorous interchange of concerned ideas. So she's saying something to me, I'm saying something to her, she's saying something to me. Neither one of us is really, is that communication going on? No, it is like somebody's got to win. And then she starts saying things about my mama. And then I have to say something about her mama. And they're both dead. Communication. The fifth point of why leaders succeed is they develop others. They do what? Develop who? Others. So you develop yourself and then you develop others. Let me give you 5 major qualities of a leader who excels. E-X-C-E-L. 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 I want to take you to the Bible. I know some of you are wondering, he has not said anything from the Bible. Give me Bible. Here, Bible. Well, here's Bible. For you with a religious spirit, here's some Bible. I know it. I know. So I could hear that. But you know, I need something from the Bible. Well, here we go. From the King James Version. Daniel chapter 6. I know where I am at. So I'm trying to redeem myself, giving you some Bible. Daniel chapter 6. The first 3 verses. Daniel chapter 6, verse 1, 2, and 3. It pleased Darius, he's the king, to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and the princes because, and what? Excellent what? And excellent small s spirit, which simply means attitude, was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. So here's what's going on. King got a kingdom. He chooses 120 princes. 120 princes. Above the 120 princes were going to be 3 presidents. Of these 3 presidents, there's going to be number 1, and his name is what? Daniel. Why did the king choose Daniel? Because he had an excellent spirit. I want to give you 5 things. E-X-C-E-L. E-X-C-E-L. E. E stands for everybody. 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 Last night a question was asked and I said, I'm going to answer it tonight. Here's the answer. Everybody. Everybody can be a leader, but not everybody becomes a leader. So people ask questions like, well, are leaders born, are leaders made? Every leader I have met was born. I've yet to meet an unborn leader. Of course, every leader is born. But then every leader, you may have natural talents and natural giftings, but every leader then has to be made. Every one of you has leadership potential in you. It's up to you to maximize that potential that is in your life. That's E. X stands for extra. Extra. I know that's bad spelling, but I made that up. Listen, I'm an Indian speaking English in Nigeria, so I can make stuff up. I have license to make stuff up. Extra. Extra simply means going above and beyond what you think you should do. Extra means the extra effort. If they ask you to be there at 9 o'clock, be there at 8:30. Extra means if they ask you to do 10 things, offer to do 12 things. Just going the extra mile. When you get known as a person who goes above and beyond, you yourself will then go above and beyond. It's the extra effort. It's the extra thing. I remember I was the janitor at the university, and one of my jobs was to go into the cafeteria or the dining hall where everybody ate. And in every afternoon, I was supposed to pick up all the chairs, put them on top of the table, sweep the room, and then mop the room. And that is what every day I had to do. Well, one day, I didn't feel like doing all of that. But I knew the only way that they will know I did something is the floor was wet. So I left the chairs where they were. I never swept the place. I just got a mop and just wet the dirty floor. I had a supervisor. Her name was Mrs. Hill. She could see everything. After it was all over, I went on to do something else. She called me, took me back inside. She said, "Sam, did you put the chairs up?" "No, ma'am." "Did you sweep the floor?" "No, ma'am." "Then why did you just mop?" I had no answer for that. At that time, she taught me this lesson. And the lesson is, always go above and beyond, extra. Now, I remember I was 21 at that time, and she was lecturing me. How many of you know when you made a mistake, the last thing you need is a lecture, right? I mean, why do you have to quote scriptures? Just tell me. She gave me this long lecture. But that made such an impression in my life. I said, I'm never going to take shortcuts again. Let me tell you, shortcuts will short you in life. She came to my home about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. She is 87 now. She lives in North Carolina. She came and stayed with me and my wife for a whole week. And guess what we talked about? Remember when? That's right. Go the extra. C stands for change. C stands for change. C stands for what? Change. Change yourself. Change your who? Self. Because if you don't change yourself, you'll be in trouble. You've got to be changing constantly. You've got to change yourself. My prayers all the time, Lord, change me. Tell me what I need to change. Because if I see a need for change, I need to make the change. Don't be stubborn in your life. Make changes. E stands for every day. Every day. Daily decisions. Your daily decisions will decide your life. Daily decisions. Daily decisions. You're making decisions how often? Every day. All the time. You're making, listen, making a decision is a decision. Postponing a decision is a decision. Not making a decision is a decision. You walk up to someone and ask them, have you decided? They say, I still haven't decided. They have made a decision. Listen, all of life is a decision. You make decisions. But decisions are daily. And it's the small daily decisions that you make that can change all of your life. Decisions. What decisions do you have to make? How long are you going to put those decisions off? Get some counsel in those decisions. Get somebody to help you with those decisions. And finally, the last word is learner. L stands for learner. I'm going to give you a quote from Alvin Toffler. I'm going to say it 2-3 times because I want you to write it down. Alvin Toffler said this: the illiterate of the future, the illiterate of the future, the illiterate of the future will not be those who can't read or write. The illiterate of the future will not be those who can't do what? Read or write. Put a full stop there. The illiterate of the future will be those who can't learn, comma, unlearn, and relearn. Full stop. I've given you 2 sentences, write down. Let me repeat it for you again, then I want you to read it out loud for me. Let me repeat it for you. Alvin Toffler said this, and I began my book, Futuring. That sold out. We don't have that tonight. With this quote. This is what Alvin Toffler said. The illiterate of the future will not be those who can't read and write. The illiterate of the future will be those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. I want everyone to read that out. You can look at your notes, or do you have them up there, whatever. Let's do that. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3. The learn. Number 2 is what? Unlearn. And number 3 is? Of those, the hardest is the middle one. The hardest is to unlearn. Because all of us are stuck in a certain way of saying, doing, being. And my prayer tonight is, may the Lord help us to learn. Number 2, unlearn. And number 3, to relearn. Thank you. God bless you.
We hope you have been blessed by this message. For further information, visit us at the King's Assembly, number 1 Stadium Road by Air Force Junction, Aba Road, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Or visit us at www.thekingsassembly.org. You may also call us on the following numbers: 0803 702 8864 or on 0803 341 7549. God bless you.